Yes, yes, yes. It's the Raphael Dawkins with the Combat Radio. And we are, hold on, are we live? Where's the ping? I'm waiting for the ping. The notification. Still waiting for the ping. Can't hear the ping. Can somebody please tell me what the hell is going on? OMG. OMG. So you are in tune to Boxing Talk with Rafi. I ain't the ping. I need an audio ping. It's Boxing Talk with Rafi. What number are we on? What are we on? Does it even say? Damn, it doesn't even say. Let me head over to the YouTube and for the sound check. Even say. Boom, boom, boom. Where is it? Let's rectify this. I like to know where we're at. Let's do this. It's Boxing Talk with Rafi 264. Let's update my little scroller. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Boxing Talk with Rafi. Let's put that in ASAP. Okay, save that, and boom, there is Boxing Talk with Rafi 264. And what are we talking about today? What are we talking about today? Let's get it up. Let's get it up on the screen. Okay, now we are live. Okay, I heard the ping, and now we're good. Okay, so first things first, let me drop this link into the chat. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so how are we going to start this thing? Well, first of all, let's do a quick roll call. It's the Cal L. Salute to you and the Combat Nation. It's the AJbxng. Nanu, more calling Orson. Come in, Orson. And we received the ping. Okay, so let's get into this shiznix. Okay, what are we talking about here? Okay, so Eddie Hearn, the big news, the breaking news, the massive news is Eddie Hearn leaves Sky for Dazn in a massive new deal. And so we're going to have a deep dive into that. But it's kind of a double header because we got some more news coming from Frank Warren, Queensbury Promotions. And Frank Warren saying no Saudi deal has been signed. So there's a lot to get into. Meaty chunks. There's a couple other little bits and bobs that we're going to be looking at. Okay, so I think it's just a question of where do we start? Do we go with, first of all, I got too many windows open. Let's close down the excess and get into this shiznix. Okay, so the question is, where do we start with? Are we going to start with the Eddie Hearn story? Lisa Bales up in the building. What does this say? James Jameson says, I'll never forgive Greasy Eddie for promoting YouTube fighters. Eddie only cares about the money. OMG. Damn. So that's a harsh pronouncement. Harsh pronouncement on Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I think that is exactly where we need to start. So let's do this shiznix right away. Let's get into it. Stop sharing that and start sharing this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so it should be there up on your screen right about now. Let's just adjust this just a tad. One more time with feeling. Okay, that looks good. Let's go with that then. Okay, so Sky's KO blow. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing to leave Sky Sports this summer and sign 100 million plus. What the hell is that? 100 million plus Dazn contract. OMG. OMG. Okay. There's Eddie Hearn there singing his heart out. A little bit of a cabaret stint there. Okay, let's get into this shiznix. Okay, so Eddie Hearn is leaving Sky Sports to take his boxing stable to streaming app Dazn in a massive 9-figure deal. Okay, so the Matchroom Kingpin has struck a deal believed to be worth around 100 million. Around 100 million? Around 100 million. Okay. With a London-based firm to take Sky's best fighters to their new rivals. Well, it's not really Sky's fighters, the Matchroom boxers. But anyway, okay. Yes. Let's go. Okay, so Anthony Joshua and Dillian White are separate entities, free to make their own decisions. But superstars like Katie Taylor, Lawrence Okoli, and Connor Ben are part of the agreement. That means Taylor's clash with Natasha Jonas on May the 1st will still be on Sky, although it will be her last fight with the broadcaster. Damn. Okay, so Sky Sports have been bracing themselves for the move as their contract expires in June. And Hearn recently confirmed he had 4 offers on the table. Okay, Hearn and Matchroom, 4 offers on the table. Okay, so the Essex mogul, who was elevated to chairman this week, chairman of Matchroom, as founding father Barry Hearn stepped down, confirmed last week that Sky will have a tough job replacing him and his stable of champions. Oh dear. Okay, so the broadcasters remain confident that they will cope with his exit. Okay, let's see what Sky have to say, or Hearn say. Sky aren't just going to replace us with a B option. Well, not even a B option, whatever option that is. They're going to lose a huge powerhouse of a subscription driver. Wow. Of course, we know Dazn are extremely aggressive in that space at that moment, but you're only really as powerful as your TV deal in this game. Okay. The reason we've been able to get to where we've got is because of the backing of Sky, and we don't take that for granted. They have been a huge part of our success, and that's why these conversations are very difficult at the moment. OMG. Damn. Okay. So let me have a look in over here. See what's going on. See what's going on with the people. Okay. Philip Carl Roberts in the building. Okay. So, great opportunity for Frank Warren to nip into Sky. Damn. Yeah. So what are the implications? What are the implications for this big move? Yeah, there's gonna be some shuffling. There's gonna be some shuffling around. I would imagine Frank Warren is rubbing his hands together and looking over the BT contract, wondering how the hell he can get out of it ASAP and fill the void that will be left by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom leaving Sky. Yeah, so definitely Frank Warren currently on BT, on the BT platform, which is a much smaller platform than the Sky platform, much less traffic. So Frank Warren, of course, it would be remiss of Frank Warren not to be seriously looking at a potential deal with Sky. There's no two ways about it. Okay, so just the Sun so far. Just the Sun saying this so far? No. It's corroborating evidence all over the web, and more particularly and more importantly, there's an article in The Athletic. What was that? Mike Coppinger? I think it's Mike Coppinger writes that. A highly reputable source. I was skeptical at first, but then, looks like it's real. Looks like it's really real. Okay, let me have a look if there's anything else in here before I go back into the article. Sky's a massive market. Eddie thinks he's bigger than Sky. Good luck, Sly Eddie. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. For sure. Get the hell on up out of here. That's what James Jameson's saying. He's saying, good riddance. OMG. I don't know if all those Sky subscribers would agree with you. Those who subscribe for the boxing. I don't know if they would agree with you, James. Count L says, damn, Sky have been losing out in the past couple of years now in boxing. No wonder they've ished themselves over this shizzle. OMG. OMG. Let me just do something that I forgot to do. Where is it? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so let me just have another little swig of this cold beverage. Okay, and let us proceed. Okay, so, let me take that down. And let's continue with this. And here we see a chart, the top 10 UK PPVs of all times. What was that? How come my bell faded off like that? I don't like that. What the hell is going on? Let's sort this out. Okay, that's a bit better. Stop the impediments. Okay, so the top 10 UK PPVs of all time. Okay, let's go in reverse. Let's go in reverse order. David Haye versus Tony Bellew. 2017. 890,000 people. Manny Pacquiao versus Ricky Hatton. 900,000. Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. This is in the UK. 1 million. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. 1.1 million. Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin. 1.11 million. Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton. 1.15 million. Vladimir Klitschko versus David Haye. 1.17 million. Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. 1.45 million. Anthony Joshua versus Vladimir Klitschko. 1.53 million. Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. 1.54 million. So it looks like what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So Anthony Joshua has the top 3 spots. He's in the hit parade at number 1, number 2, number 3. Number, what is that? 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So Anthony Joshua claims the 6th, the 3rd, the 2nd, and the 1st highest selling pay-per-views in the UK of all times. Of all times. Okay, so just looking around here for Tyson Fury. I don't think Tyson Fury is up on the list. Don't think Tyson Fury is up on this list. Okay, let us press on. Let us press on, and boom, boom, boom. Iron Kong up in the building. Iron Kong, how you doing, my brother?
Mr. Dawkins, how things, man? I cool.
It's good, man. It's all good in the hood. We got some interesting news, breaking news. I wasn't expecting it. Kind of took me by surprise. If I'm honest, somebody approached me that said, I've heard that Hearn's leaving Sky for Dazn. And I said, I don't think so. Not just yet. But if he does, then that's evolution. It's things are moving on. It's evolution. The Iron Kong. But I was surprised.
What I like about Eddie in a way is that he's not afraid to try, right? But I saw this coming ever since Dazn came around and gave him that big contract. Eddie's a guy who Eddie considers himself to be always on the cutting edge, and Dazn is that.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Dr. Woodak up in the building. How you doing, Dr. Woodak? Sky been losing to Dazn. Eddie playing both sides. Uh-oh. Let's have a look at some more of these comments. Let's have a look. Wizard Sleep says, got rid of Sky Sports already. Since Dazn, it is chronic. Yeah, the writing was on the wall, but I was kind of used to the arrangements. But, somebody mentioned to me, well, Dazn just Sky, as big as Sky may be, they just didn't have the budget that they didn't have everything was on PPV because arguably, there could have been a bigger budget. This could have been about a bigger budget. That's why I've been having so many. Arguably, that's why I've been having so many fights on PPV.
I think maybe I have to learn from y'all UK people what the ramifications of this is, because for me it really no change. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but in the UK it's interesting to hear what y'all have to say. So I'll kind of learn from y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For the ramifications, we don't know. This is uncharted waters. Waters for us.
How long has Eddie been with Sky?
Damn, he's been with them for it seems like forever, but a good few years now.
Frank said he was there before.
Frank was there before Eddie. Eddie, there were some issues, and Eddie kind of, Frank left. Eddie came in, or did Eddie come in before Frank left, or did Eddie come in as Frank was leaving, but Frank left and Eddie came in. But as a matter of fact, I'm curious to find out the exact time. Let me just look for this here. How long has Matchroom been with Sky? How long has Matchroom been with Sky? Let's have a look. How long is Matchroom? How long is Matchroom? Oh, okay.
Hey, James Jameson, let me be honest, man. I don't know if Matchroom guys are able to sell in America, but not even American fighters sell in America, it looks like. So I don't know. American fighters are struggling themselves, doing nothing.
Yeah. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom agree. Oh no, come on. Matchroom, Sky, and Sports. What's this? Let me share this with you. Bring that down. Boom. Let's bring that up. Let's have a look. Matchroom Sports and Sky Sports announce a new 7-year broadcast agreement. Okay, let me just check that you can see what I can see. A little bit small. Let's bring this up. Boom. Okay, let's have a look. That should be good enough, hopefully. Okay, one more time with feeling. Okay, so Matchroom Sports and Sky Sports are delighted to announce a new 7-year broadcast deal that will continue Sky's coverage of Matchroom sports events into a fourth decade. And the date of this article was the January the 9th of 2018. 2018, January the 9th. So what's that, 18? So that's 3 years ago. And that took them into the fourth decade. So obviously, before Eddie, there was his father, Barry. So yeah, they've been with Sky now for going into their fourth decade, running until 2000. What's going on here? Running until 2025. OMG. Customers will be able to watch a multitude of major events across 8 different sports, and comes alongside a continuation of Sky Sports broadcast agreement with the PDC. Not PBC, folks, not PBC, it's PDC. Which will see 60 days of live dance. Okay, so 4 decades. But the question is, what happened to this 2025 business? We're only 2021. Obviously, they must have had some options to get out or whatever. But we know that the contract is due to expire this June. So there you go. It's been almost half a century. These cats have been messing with each other. Almost 50 years, well, actually 40 years to be precise. Okay, so it's been a long. Let me bring that down. Boom, get that out of there. It's been a long association. So that's why I say that we're kind of going into, in a sense, we're going into uncharted waters. It's a new thing. It's wow, it's interesting. How is this thing going to play out? Let's continue with this article. Let's see what they're saying. You can understand if I was to make a broadcast move, it would be for a reason. We've got no reason to leave Sky outside of something that would change our life, our vision for the sport, and our fighters' lives as well. Damn. That's a big statement. We've got no reason to leave Sky outside of something that would change our lives, our vision for our sport, and our fighters' lives as well. Damn. I think in simplest terms, he's saying big things. Big things. It's an extremely difficult decision for us, but it's flattering. We've worked hard to get here. We really have built an incredible global business, and that's part of the decision-making process, the global landscape. Okay, so Hearn has worked exclusively with Sky in the UK since 2012. But that's Hearn himself, not Matchroom. But the 740 million 16-show deal he did with Dazn for US shows in 2018 helped take his brand worldwide. So that was 740 for 16 shows. Okay. Right. Okay. And his dream is to have an almost total monopoly on the sport, much like Dana White does with his MMA promotion, UFC. Well, that ain't happening. Too many players in the game for one man to have a total monopoly. But it's interesting. It's an interesting concept. He added, we've turned our business around in America. We have Canelo Alvarez out there. We have shows in Uzbekistan. We were in Gibraltar. We are in Miami, then Barcelona, then Manchester for the pay-per-view on Sky. Then we're in Dallas. Then back in the UK for a show on May the 15th. Then we're in Milan. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We are a global force. We are probably the only global force. There is no one else touching what we are doing or even making a charge globally. We are set to become the UFC of boxing. And it's only a matter of time. Dazn, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, reached out to Dazn, but they refused to comment. I refuse to comment at this stage.
The Rafi Dawkins, the Rafi Dawkins media house reached out.
That's the one. That's
your
the
roving
one.
reporters. Your roving reporters.
The roving reporters. We got them all over the place. We got undercover reporters all over the place. So what's this here? Okay, and that is the article. Okay, what's this? I thought that was Deontay Wilder for a second, changing his sport. This guy here. I thought it was Deontay Wilder changing his sport. There we go. That's the end of that article. Okay, so yes, Iron Kong. Yeah, so you asked me the question, what's he gonna be like now? Don't know. Really don't know. What's Sky's next move? Uncharted territory.
I would like to see, well, hopefully Sky gives, because Eddie took up a big foot, Eddie has a big footprint. Mm-hmm. Since I started becoming more aware of UK boxing and Eddie Hearn, of course, because it came via Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua, where I started taking more notice of UK boxing. And this dude, Eddie, one thing with Eddie is that he takes up a lot of air in the room, right? So he took up all the space at Sky. He was the primary guy at Sky. Yeah. And him leaving might give a lot of opportunity for other guys to step in, right? So maybe Sky will allow a lot of the smaller promoters to get space. That's if Sky wants to be in the boxing game as deep still. You know what I'm saying? But give a lot of the smaller promoters smaller shows. But Sky is also accustomed to a certain look to the shows, right? Because you want presentation. So a lot of these smaller shows might not look as nice as they might want it, you know?
Yeah.
So they'll have to step their game up too.
Yes. And in comes the man like the H Mo Nay. H Mo Nay, how do you do?
What's good, Rafi? How you doing, my brother? First of all, I want to say thanks for having me on your platform. Shout out to the Iron Kong on the panel. Today is a big day in the sport of boxing.
Hey, peace,
Eddie Hearn, no longer with Sky Sports, signs a huge deal to stay with Dazn. What do you think about this, Rafi, and the significance of this move? How big is this move?
Well, it's huge. It's massive. The Matchroom have been involved with Sky, been working with Sky now going on 4 decades. Before that, Frank Warren was involved with them, but that was a long time ago. So this is normal now. Matchroom with Sky, it was like apple pie and ice cream for you Americans. It was like apple pie and ice cream that went together like peaches and cream. It's all we've known for a long time. So this is a new thing. It's a new landscape. It's I mean, there's been talk of it. I understand that, but I wasn't expecting it. Not just yet. I know the thing was up for review. The contract expired in June, but I can't say that I really saw it happening like this, a clean cut. I thought there'd be some kind of dovetailing. I thought there would be, some kind of joint deal where, he gives a certain amount of fights to Sky, a certain amount to Dazn, but this is just a clear cut. It's a clean cut. It's a clean cut. I'm very surprised. I won't pretend that I'm not surprised. I'm very surprised at the clean cut. Thought it'd be a dovetailing. I'm taken aback. What can we expect? It's like Kong said. I think the most likely outcome is, do Sky stay in the boxing? I mean, we don't even know if they're going to stay in the boxing. I mean, Eddie Hearn Matchroom has been so influential. I mean, who else could take their place? Which other provider in the UK could take Matchroom's place? The closest thing will be Frank Warren. But you don't have the stable. You don't have the depth of stable. So I don't think it's going to be one sole provider who gets a contract. I think this time around, I think Sky, if they opt to stay in the boxing game, that's a big if, we don't know. if they opt to stay in the boxing game, I think they're going to have to be dealing with multiple promoters.
So I have a few questions. A few questions, Rafi. So does this mean that there's no more pay-per-view? Like Sky Sports pay-per-view will no longer be a part of
BT still have pay-per-view.
So Sky, what about Matchroom? So that means Matchroom Boxing is no more pay-per-view. Is that correct? That is only DAZN. You have to get DAZN subscription in the UK to watch these Matchroom events, to watch fighters like Canelo, Devin Haney, Billy Joe. Is that correct?
Yes, that appears to be the landscape. It's a pay-per-view free landscape right about now, as far as Matchroom are concerned, and DAZN right about now.
So that's a good thing for the UK fans, because I see somebody in the chat. Let me look at this comment. Cal L says this is bad for UK fans. How is it bad when you are saving money now to watch the best fights? You don't have to pay pay-per-view anymore. This is a part of your subscription. So I think this is a great deal for the fight fans in the UK.
Well, I mean, at the moment it costs £1.99 to have DAZN. £1.99 to have DAZN. Of course, that price will change. The pricings will change. So it's still unknown territory. It's uncharted waters. We don't know what that price change is going to be. Of course, there's going to be a hefty price hike. So we're walking into the unknown. And who's to say that DAZN will never use the PPV model again? Hopefully not.
But I don't think so, because they came into the sport with the motto "pay-per-view is dead." They came into the sport of boxing, right, with letting us know that we don't have to pay $100 for one fight anymore. Instead, you could pay $100 for a whole year of championship boxing. And AJbxng says this ain't bad for UK fans. And I agree. I think this is good for the UK fans, just like it was good for the American fans. Now, another question for you, Rafi, is do you see MTK Global, like Be Real say, MTK Global can come off YouTube and go on Sky Sports? What about MTK Global matching up or teaming up with a Sky Sports? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, I think they're one of the providers who could be in the mix. I don't see them taking over some exclusive contract with Sky Sports, but I can see them having some kind of relationship. So there would be another promoter in the mix. I think Sky Sports, if they stay in the sport, I think it's going to be a lot of operators. They're going to be working with a lot of operators, going a little bit back to grassroots, maybe.
So, Rafi, what is MTK Global exactly? Is it a management? Is it a promotional company? What is MTK Global? Because I know Tyson Fury is a part of MTK Global, right?
Yeah.
But isn't Frank Warren his promoter? Isn't he with Queensberry Promotions? So how does this work? Please explain to me.
Okay, so there's multiple MTK Global has multiple areas. Okay, so you got advisors. They give fighters who already have a promoter, they give them advice. So there's advisor option. They are promoters in their own right. So you could be promoted by MTK Global. So that you could be on the MTK Global, which is that's a boxing stable as well, training facilities, and they put on their own shows. So they are promoters, they are managers, they are advisors. So they're building up into kind of being everything, other than broadcasters. Well, do they even broadcast? They might even broadcast some of their own stuff. So they've got the finger in the whole, they got the whole hand in the pie, from management to advice to being promoters and promoting their own shows also. Could they work with Sky? Yeah, I think possible. I think it's possible. Would they be would Sky have them as their sole provider for boxing content? Absolutely not. I don't think anybody can really fill those shoes as well as DAZN have been doing. So I think it's going to be multiple operators working with Sky.
So how powerful is MTK Global? Like, where do you rank MTK Global with the rest of the I would say management companies?
Well, they're coming up fast. They're coming up fast. They're the new kids on the block. They're the
Are
new
they
kids.
more powerful? Are they powerful like a Matchroom?
No,
They?
no, not yet, not yet, not yet. I don't think so yet. But if we are to believe what we've been told, then they have deep pockets. They are the new kids on the block. They're not as powerful as a Matchroom. They still don't have the status of a Queensbury promotion, but they're putting on their own shows and they're coming up fast. That's their position right now. Coming up, the new kids on the block.
How deep are their pockets? Is it deeper than a Dazn? Would you say?
Oh,
is it?
No, I wouldn't want to say they're deeper than the zone, but certainly deeper than Queensbury Promotions by far.
Is it true that they got $1 billion that they're investing in boxing, just like what Dazn was doing at first? That
allegedly, they have very, very deep pockets. Very, very deep pockets.
Okay. If you were a young fighter and you had offers right from a MTK Global, would you take that into consideration if you're like a young 17-year-old fighter that's coming up?
Yes, absolutely. They're the new kids on the block. They do have some adverse publicity, but if I'm a 17-year-old kid, yeah, I'm probably going to buy into that. Probably going to buy into it. So the fact that they have deep pockets. Yeah, they're the new kids on the block and they got deep pockets. Hey, everybody's going to listen to them.
And they have, of course, Spencer Fearon, who's a part of MTK Global.
They got Spencer Fearon in there, very active with the MTK. So, I'm sure there are many eyes on the ground, but certainly Spencer Fearon is one of them.
And he's very respected too, as far as his boxing knowledge.
Absolutely.
A former fighter who's very genuine. You know what I mean? And I think he's very trustworthy. I think he is a very good person to mentor young fighters. You know what I mean? That's what I think. And something else that I wanted. Dang, I think I forgot what I wanted to ask you. It was hopefully it could come back to me.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Hopefully it should come back to you. But for anybody just joining in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that share button, and tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Okay. So, it's up there. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing to leave Sky Sports this summer and sign $100 million plus Dazn contract. I'm looking through the chat now. Iron Kong, it looks like it's like I said, it's uncharted territory. It's pure speculation of how Sky are going to handle this thing. So I'm purely speculating when I say that, I think your idea that they're going to go with multiple smaller promoters if they stay in the game, I think that's the most logical choice.
The thing is, though, like I was saying earlier, somebody agreed in the chat, like, if you go with smaller promoters, remember Sky also prides itself on how things look. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm not going to lie to you. A Matchroom show, it could be the smallest show. It's Matchroom makes things look really good. They've mastered the art of combining the social media and all of that with the actual event. They do it better than, a lot of other promotions to me. And if they're going with the smaller promotions, according to the budget they might want to give them, the smaller promotions will have an opportunity then to step up their game, right? So to me, I'm not from the UK, obviously. I don't know. But to me, how it looked like it gave more people some breathing room, give them an opportunity to grow. That's if Sky wants to stay in boxing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you see Adam Smith calling one of these super small shows like that? Even though I remember he used to say, like, when Sky started brought back boxing in the UK, like that. Yeah, that's what Adam Smith says. And they started from small with Matchroom. They started from building back up again when nothing was really doing in the UK and building. And that was just the narrative Eddie and Adam Smith like to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So are they willing to go back through that process again, going from scratch? And will Adam Smith being at his age, obviously he want to start over, So it's just interesting. But I see it as a positive for other people to push their promotion forward. But question for you: these Wasserman people, right? What type of stable do they have though? Like who other than Chris Eubank Jr., who they got?
Well, the Wasserman people, they've just taken over the Sowlands. They've just taken over the Sowlands operation. And I don't know much about them. I don't know much about them. I don't know which stars they have. Who do Wasserman have? I think they've come in to build. I think they've come in to build with the Sowlands. But do they bring any stars with them over to the Sowlands? Who's with them? I don't think so. I think they're building. They're in a building phase, and they're building with the Sowlands. So are they potential people to go in with Sky? Yes. But at the moment, once again, who's got the stable? Who's got the stable to rival? Who's got the stable in the UK to rival the Matchroom?
Frank Warren, MTK Global.
Frank Warren can come in. MTK Global can come in. But can any one of them do that solely? Can Frank Warren come in solely as one organization group? Can he come in solely and take over what Matchroom were doing?
No, I don't think so. But with a partnership with MTK, I think they can make something happen. Especially if Tyson Fury is able to beat Anthony Joshua. If you have Tyson Fury, who's the undisputed heavyweight champion, who's arguably the biggest name, one of the biggest names in boxing, I think that's a power play. If Fury can win and bring those belts back to Frank Warren, I think that will give them more leverage.
Yeah.
Frank Warren has a long-term contract with BT though. He just re-signed like recently, no?
Yeah. He's in a contract with BT. So Frank Warren, I don't think Frank Warren's part of the equation. I don't see BT happily letting Queensbury Promotions go.
Sorry, Rafi, just quickly. Hey, Dead Game Boxing. I thought you're saying PBC and Sky. PBC had a deal with ITV and that went nowhere. So please.
Yeah, they had what was it Channel 5? Was there with Channel 5? PBC? I think the PBC went with Channel 5 over here in the UK. It's a terrestrial channel. I think, did they have a couple of shows on there and then nothing? Couple of shows on there and then nothing. So, yeah. Warren's stable is on its knees.
He has a very good stable. I do disagree when you look at his stable. Joe Joyce, you have Daniel Dubois still. You still got fighters like Tyson Fury. Yeah, I know he lost Billy Joe Saunders, but he does have some good fighters. And he's been in the game for a very long time. Frank Warren is a heavyweight. He has experience. He's been promoting way back in the day with Eddie Hearn's father. That's how long he's been in the game.
Yeah. He's a heavyweight. But he's stuck over there. Well, not stuck, but he's over there with BT. He's over there with BT Sports. I don't see him getting out of that newly signed extension on the contract anytime soon. Let me have a look through these comments here. Where are we? Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that share button. Sky may still have PPV. Yeah, well, there's nothing to say Sky can't have PPV. That's their model. Sky's content has been trash recently. This ain't bad for UK fans. MTK Global can come off YouTube and go on Sky.
Rafi.
Yeah.
Sorry. I think AJbxng made a good point, right? So H Money was saying if they have Fury and all of that, Anthony Joshua has already signaled that he has what 3 more years left in boxing. That's like what, maybe 4 fights, 6 fights, maybe. Tyson Fury is gonna be done by at least next year. He's not gonna stick around. These two guys are pretty much winding down their career. I don't see Tyson or Anthony Joshua sticking around too long. So whoever signs deals with Queensberry and Matchroom have to understand that pretty soon their biggest star is gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So they sign this deal with Eddie Hearn, knowing that. They have to know that.
I think what Joshua's 31. Says he wants to finish at 35.
Yeah, and man's gonna be gone, man.
He's got four years left. So what's that? 2 fights a year for 4 years. So he's got what, 8 fights left. Tyson Fury retiring. Speculation he'll retire if he beats Joshua. Well, I don't believe it. I think boxing is life. Boxing is life for Fury, like it is for a lot of these guys. I don't see him walking away anytime soon. I really don't. I can see him walking away and coming back. I can see that. Yes. What's this? Cold STS? Salute, Raf. Keeping it real like cold. What's STS?
I don't know what that means.
What the hell is STS? Kieran Betts up in the building.
Salute, Kieran Betts, my brother, man. Shout outs to you.
Kieran Betts up in there. What does STS mean, Ricardo? Weavos. Just had a thought. If MTK are backed by Sky and all their fighters run down their promotion contracts, they will have a giant stable. Interesting thought. What's this? Have enough money to who? MTK have endless money. Bottomless lined pockets. Endless. This chat has no. Who is this crazy people? What does he say? He blocks those that disagree with him. Well, clearly you didn't listen to last night's show, did you? You didn't listen to last night's show that was highly animated, highly energetic, and no one got blocked. So I think you're talking pure poppycock, old boy. Pure and utter poppycock. But I tell you what, though, I'm going to block you. OMG.
Man pound the gavel on you, boy.
Say that again?
So you pound the gavel on him.
Well, he said he blocks those that disagree with him. Well, you didn't disagree with me, but I blocked you. So you can't say I blocked you because you disagree with me.
Wise decision, my lord.
Yes, indeed. I think he'll have some time to contemplate and meditate. He blocks those that disagree with him. But you didn't disagree with me, but I still blocked you. So how does that fit into the scheme? How does that fit into the scheme? Let's have a look here. What's this? It's all about the money now. Where are we at? Okay. So I think, what's the topic of that? I think we kind of come to the end of that one. Let me just bring this. Yeah.
One quick question, Rafi. Do you feel like MTK Global is the biggest threat to a matchroom boxing? Would you say that? Are they do you think they will be the ones to compete with matchroom boxing as the number one movement in boxing as far as management and when it comes to getting fighters? Do you think MTK Global will be the rival to a Eddie Hearn?
Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. If it is true that their pockets are as deep as one suspects, or as we have been led to suspect. If it is true, if that is true, then yeah, they're in a great position. They're coming up with money. They're pouring money into the sport. They're pouring money into building. So down the line, yeah, potentially.
So now I got a few more questions for you. Now,
Carry
what
on.
do you think about those prospects that Eddie Hearn signed from America? Do you feel like Eddie Hearn did a good job with the money that he had? Like Dazn invested $1 billion into boxing. Eddie Hearn he came to America. Eddie Hearn spent a lot of money on certain fighters like Triple G.
I think he acknowledges. I think they acknowledge that they overspent.
Okay, and now what do you think about the prospects that he signed? Otha Jones, Otha Jones III was a prospect that signed at Matchroom Boxing. He took a loss this past Saturday. Okay, what do you think about those prospects? Austin M.O. Williams, Nikita Ababi, all of these guys. Raymond Ford, who got a draw also. He just had a draw in his last fight. Do you think Eddie Hearn invested in the right prospects?
Well, damn. I mean, it's a question of what. It's a question of the market. What's on the market? I think he bought what he could buy on the market. We've had people on here, guests on here. I shall mention no names, who say that Eddie Hearn isn't a boxing man, so he doesn't make the best boxing decisions sometimes. There are other people out there who are deeper in knowledge, and he should employ. I mean, I've had people say he should employ certain people over in the US that will get him in, make it easier. All of that, or some of that may be true, but what we do see is that Dazn clearly have confidence in Eddie Hearn. Hence the massive deal they've just struck. And I think that Eddie Hearn, he was learning the market. He was learning the American market. You know, you just don't go in the market and rule things and run things and call the shots. But I think we're a couple of years down the line now. And I think Eddie Hearn's a couple of years wiser. That's why he's got the deal. That's why he's got this massive deal. He's the busiest promoter out there. Is Eddie Hearn the best promoter out there right now, Monet?
He's one of the best. He's one. I mean, he does a great job with his fighters. He pays his fighters a lot of money. But, you know, as far as like, you know, some of the decisions that he made, I know Dazn, they spent over $100 million on Triple G. And Triple G has been a disappointment so far. Now, you look at those fighters that they signed, Tevin Farmer, all of these guys. They paid Mikey Garcia $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas. I mean, he invested the money in the wrong fighters. You had Tyson Fury, who was available, who was a free agent, and Tyson Fury signed with Top Rank ESPN. I feel like Eddie Hearn should have signed Tyson Fury if Tyson Fury was available. You know, instead they gave that money to Triple G.
Tyson Fury was available. And he declined to sign with Eddie. It's speculated that he didn't like the combat road that Eddie presented to him. Eddie presented him with one soft touch, then a fight with Dillian White, and then a crack at Anthony Joshua. That was the three fight plan, combat plan that Eddie Hearn had in mind, presented to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury rejected it and went with Frank Warren instead.
But I would say this, Dazn, they gave Eddie Hearn a lot of money to go invest in fighters in America. And I don't think Eddie Hearn invested in the right fighters. But he did make one great decision. When he signed Devin Haney, that was the best thing that Eddie Hearn did in the past 2 years for Dazn. But right now, I think Spencer Farron, who really knows about boxing, He's coming to America with MTK Global. I think Spencer Fearon could probably do a better job than what Eddie Hearn did. As far as boxing, because Spencer Fearon is a boxing historian. He's a former fighter. He knows talent, and I think Spencer Fearon will make those right decisions. To be honest with you, you see MTK Global, they signed Tyson Fury. Eddie Hearn had an opportunity to sign Tyson Fury, and he didn't do it. He dropped the ball.
Tyson Fury declined.
He didn't give him the offer. He didn't give him the best deal possible. They could have gave him a contract that Tyson Fury couldn't refuse. They could have gave him one of those type of deals, but they didn't, bro.
Eddie Hearn said he was not prepared to pay for the type of people that Tyson Fury wanted to fight. Francisco Pianetta and these people. He was not going to pay Tyson Fury. Hold on. Let me finish. Triple G signed his own deal with Dazn. And nothing to do with Eddie. Eddie Hearn has a partnership with Triple G now. Eddie Hearn offered Tyson Fury a deal straight to Anthony Joshua. John Fury even said he liked Eddie Hearn's road to Joshua more than what Tyson Fury took. All these things are on interviews on YouTube. You can go look them up. Eddie Hearn tried to sign Tyson. Tyson said no. He went with Frank and fought these Azerbaijani taxi men, and he got his deal. It worked out fine for Tyson. But to say like he didn't try and sign Tyson, that's not true. He did. Tyson just said no.
He didn't try hard enough, Iron Kong. And then you said he wasn't. Let me finish, bro. You said that he wasn't gonna pay. Put the zoom in on me, Rafi, please.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
It's all good, because now you said that he wasn't willing to pay Tyson Fury the money to fight those type of opponents, but you're willing to pay Triple G $20 million to fight Steve Rose? Are you joking? Tyson Fury is worth more money than Triple G. Now, if you're willing to pay Triple G $20 million to fight Steve Rose and have tune-ups and fight all these bums, why not give Tyson Fury the same amount to do the same thing? They made a mistake when they did not sign Tyson Fury, bro. That's all that I got to say. He was available. DAZN had the money. Now, Triple G, Eddie Hearn, he was in a meeting when they met up with Triple G, when Triple G was a free agent. Eddie Hearn was there. He was there during that meeting. So he has something to do with it, my brother.
Okay. And in comes, well, what I say to that is that Tyson Fury declined. Tyson Fury didn't want it. He wanted a different path. We saw the path he took. It was Pianetta. It was Cephas Fury. So he wanted lighter touches. One could argue he wanted lighter touches than Eddie Hearn was prepared to give him. But let me bring in James. He's been waiting patiently in the wings. James, how do you do?
Very good, Rafi. Very good. How have you been?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. It's been a long time, James. I don't know why you boycotted us.
No, not at all, mate. Lots of stuff to do, see?
I understand. Have you still been raiding the old sherry, the port?
Yeah, as always, mate. As always.
Okay, good to have
Rafi,
you.
Can I say one thing, please, before I go?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James. Rafi, you said the Pianetta fight, but this is that time Tyson Fury was not a free agent. Now, we're talking about what Tyson Fury, for his first fight on ESPN, was against Tom Schwartz, right?
No, he was a free agent when he came back. He came back against Cephas Fury and Francisco Pianetta. He was before he came back. He was a free agent.
He wasn't with Top Rank then, though. He signed the Top Rank deal. His first fight with the Top Rank deal was against Tom Schwartz. Now that's what I'm saying. Now, and like you said, like Iron Kong said, Eddie Hearn wasn't willing to pay him the money that Tyson Fury wanted for those Tom Schwartz fights. For that Otto Wallin fight.
He wasn't a free agent at that stage. He was with Frank Warren. He couldn't have been with Frank Warren and Matchroom at the same time.
But bro, he just signed that deal. His first fight on ESPN was against Tom Schwartz, my brother. He was a free agent and signed with Top Rank ESPN. I could send you, if I had your Instagram, I could send you
No. As far as I'm aware, what happened was that he was free. He was free for America, but he was not free over here in the UK. So,
Yeah, the zone is America, though. That's what I'm
okay, I
saying.
got
At
you.
that
You're
time, the
saying the
zone
zone.
was.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
guess
all that I'm saying. If Eddie Hearn is willing to pay Triple G $20 million to fight Steve Rose, why wouldn't you be willing to pay Tyson Fury $20 million to fight against Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin?
Well, Tyson, perhaps you don't know that Tyson Fury. I don't know if he's got a particularly warm relationship with Eddie Hearn. I don't know if he's got a particularly warm relationship with Eddie Hearn. Yeah, I think that seem to prefer, Tyson Fury and Billy Joe Saunders. They seem to prefer Frank Warren. They seem to prefer Frank Warren's way of doing things. Frank Warren does things kind of differently. Frank Warren's been sued by multiple fighters. He's got a different way of doing things, and maybe it suits them boys.
But it worked for Tyson Fury, Rafi. Tyson Fury, with this deal with Top Rank, he was able to get a Deontay Wilder rematch. He dominated Wilder. He's the WBC Ring Magazine lineal champion, and now he's headed towards an Anthony Joshua fight. So, I think Tyson Fury chose the right path to get to AJ, because in that same way,
he could have got to AJ quicker. He could have got there quicker.
But he got Wilder out the way. He got Wilder, what AJ didn't do. So now he got leverage. He beat Wilder, who's the number one heavyweight at the time.
Wilder ducked him to fight Fury, though. So
Wilder was the number one heavyweight, though, my brother. And Fury beat the top guy, which makes Tyson right now the number one heavyweight.
Yeah, but Wilder ducked AJ to fight Fury, though. So you can't blame that on Joshua. For less money. He said himself, Wilder ducked Joshua to fight Fury for less money.
Even if that's the case, Rafi, you can't blame Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury still made the right choice because he got the belt. He beat the number one guy. So
it's more by what you call it, luck than judgment. It's more by luck than judgment.
But he made the right choice, bro.
Well, yeah, but more by luck than judgment. You're driving through fog and you just happen to take the right turning. Is that a masterstroke? Or is that more through luck than judgment? James, come on in.
Yeah, because if you're saying that he was linked, like he was already with Frank Warren for the UK, you talk about Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren being together. That's not going to work, is it?
Eddie Hearn and Frank, yeah.
That's not going to work. It wouldn't work. None of it works.
He's talking about America. He's talking about signing with DAZN.
But
DAZN is Eddie Hearn, because the face of Eddie Hearn is DAZN.
Yeah.
And Rafi, what I'm going to come on in now is say, I think boxing's over, mate. This DAZN, because what it is, this has come out next day after the football thing is meant to go through, which DAZN supposedly offered billions or millions, whether it is, to get the right to this Super League.
Yeah.
I think it was like 400 million, whatever, So with that kind of money, if they've still got that kind of money to raise in boxing, they're just going to buy everything. And Eddie Hearn already has the best English fighters. Before you know it, he'll have the best American fighters, and I think that's it for boxing.
Why would that be a bad thing?
It's going to be an awful thing, because it'd be exactly like the UFC. And if anyone,
the UFC get praised. The UFC get praised.
It shouldn't be praised. It shouldn't be praised, because you got people like McGregor coming in and fighting the top guys when he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be fighting the top guys. All it is just for money. In the UFC, because Dana White controls everything about the UFC. It's done completely wrong. It's not about who's the second in the UFC. It's about who makes the most money in the UFC more than anything. And there's no like, we have in boxing, we have you fight for a belt to be the number one contender, and then you have to fight. UFC, it's not run like that. It's run by what Dana White has the final say on everything. And if it's like that in boxing.
Yeah,
we have the same kind of thing of this. You'll have, because the same with McGregor. McGregor was still number 6, number 5, number 4, whatever.
Yeah.
But the problem is he was there because Dana White put him there. He shouldn't be that, and we saw it when he lost. He lost to Khabib so easily, and he lost again. This is going to be the end.
But wouldn't you say that Eddie Hearn has shown a habit of making these fights, making these fights. I don't think he wants to get all these guys together not to have them not fight, surely.
Yeah, That's the thing though, Rafi. You'll have the so-called top guys fight. They'll just be the top money makers. If you want to see the top money makers fight, that's what you'll see. You won't see the top guys fight. That's what we see in the UFC. We see the top money makers fight. We don't see the top guys fight.
But Eddie Hearn likes the top guys to fight, though.
Yeah, but so does supposedly Dana White, and everyone thinks that they go, well, look at the UFC, the top guys always fight the top guys. It's because the rankings are so fraudulent a lot of the time. Where it's Dana White saying, "Oh, he's number 4 because he's been off for 2 years, but he was really good last time," which is not true. And we're going to have the same thing in boxing, and boxing's going to be done. I think.
James, can you give me another example besides McGregor?
McGregor, you got what's his face? You had like GSP. He came back and he fought Michael Bisping. He did win the fight, but how can you come in after 5 years off, come in and fight for the belt? Ridiculous. Shouldn't
didn't Tyson Fury come back and fight for the belt?
Tyson Fury had 2. He said he had to fight twice. Then
you're telling me Francisco Pianet and Sefer Fury can't?
Yeah, they do. Of course they do.
I'm sorry. Sefer Fury and Francisco Pianeta are 2 fights that are enough to put Tyson Fury up there to fight.
Mate, it's better than fighting nothing, mate. And what I'm saying,
you're joking.
I'm not joking, mate. It's better than fighting nothing. It's better than being at 5 years off. Plus, he went 5 years off or 4 years off. That like GSP was. He hadn't fought since like 2008, and comes in and fights in like 2015 for the belt. Ridiculous.
But
it's exactly how.
So you would have rather GSP come back and have a couple of nothing fights and then fight Bisping? How is that better?
What I'm saying is, though, that shouldn't be the case. What you're going to see, he was a top money earner. And that's what we saw. We see the top money maker fight the top money maker, which was Michael Bisping at the time, which was a massive draw. He actually got some UK people into UFC. And that's exactly what we're going to see in the boxing world. We're going to see the top money makers fight, not the top boxers. And we kind of see it now already. But all it's going to, when you have it under one roof, one guy making the orders, one organization making the orders, you've got no incentive to make boxing of the sport better. That won't
be the case with Eddie Hearn, though, because he's got the sanctioning bodies to deal with. So the mere fact that you got sanctioning bodies making mandatory fights,
they get rid of the sanctioning bodies. You think those sanctioning bodies going to stay around when Eddie Hearn owns everything? You think they're going to stay around, mate? Not a chance on earth.
What are they going to do? They're going to shut shop? The WBC going to shut shop?
Make their own one, just like football tried to do.
Yeah, Eddie, you think Eddie Hearn's going to try and do what PBC were talking 100%. About doing?
Not more money in it. Why pay a third party, a middleman? Why pay a middleman if you can make the money yourself?
Tradition.
And if no, because you've got and Dana White's already come in and said he wants to do that. And
Dana White said that. That's not
Dana White said
You're
that.
confusing Dana White with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's never said
it can be done, and it will be done. And this is what's going to happen. He will buy everybody. I'm calling it now. You wait. It may take 5 years, 5, 6, 7 years. Once he has everybody, what's the point of having?
Never going to have everybody though. He's never going to have everybody. He's never going to have everybody. And even if he did have everybody, he's still got sanctioning bodies to deal with.
Won't, but that's what I'm saying. You'll get rid of the sanctioning bodies. The sanctioning bodies will be bye-bye, mate. When you own everybody, there's no point of a sanctioning body because you make your own belts up. You make the top heavyweight. There's no point of the sanctioning body.
Gee, this is why the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio is so great. We have so many different voices, so many different perspectives. And what James is saying to me sounds crazy, but to him,
mate, it's just happened in football. It's just happened in football, just like it. And if the money stays in the zone, they will buy it. And I'm saying if the type of money they do have is correct, they will just throw money at everyone that's big, and they'll make their own belts up. Unless obviously it didn't happen in football because the fans spoke. They said they didn't want it. And they're protesting, whatever. If it doesn't happen in boxing, it's done.
Oh dear, the pessimism.
It's done.
The glass is half empty rather than half full. The iron.
Rafi, a lot of this seems to be issues that people have with Eddie Hearn. I don't know Eddie Hearn personally. I don't know the guy. I'm not from the UK, so I don't really have a lot of these prejudices. Like people don't like him for some reason. I don't care. You know, I sense from James that he's kind of reaching when it comes to the UFC thing.
I don't
Can I
mind. I
please
don't
finish?
mind
Can I
Eddie
please
Hearn
finish?
at all.
Can
But
I
when you
please
have one
finish?
guy,
Hold on.
it's,
May I please finish? May I
let
please
Tom
finish? May I please
Sorry,
finish, sir? Eddie Hearn, sorry, the UFC has been rocketing in pay-per-view buys. People keep buying, not because they don't get the fights they want. It's because they get the fights they want. Bisping also wanted that GSP fight for a long time because why? It was a big money fight for him also. It was a big opportunity for him to beat GSP, who was at that time considered to be the best ever in mixed martial arts. You understand? So that was that was one of the first so-called super fights where people were moving up, right? People were moving up. GSP was kind of one of the first guys to do that, to move up and fight heavier guys like that. You know, I think after that they were even saying, well, you know, why doesn't GSP fight Anderson Silva? It didn't happen though. So when you say Dana White, you know, push GSP to fight Bisping, sometimes you will have fights that are friendly for the fans, that are dream fights, super fights, that you push them up to fight, which is why you have sometimes people from lower weight divisions moving up in boxing to fight a heavyweight or heavyweight division because you want to see them fight. You want to see these guys fight. You know what I'm saying? Some guys dominating his division or whatever, you want to see them fight. So the UFC, in my opinion, has given the people more meaningful fights than boxing, which is why boxing keeps going downhill and the UFC keeps going up. The UFC just made the best heavyweight fight they could make the other day. John Jones can't beat up nobody else in 205, so he had to move to heavyweight. Because John Jones fought all of his top competition, every single one at 205.
Boom.
You know? So 185, Adesanya. He beat up whoever at 205 at 185. He had to try to move up to 205 to fight Blachowicz. It didn't work out for him. So the UFC has been giving people the fights they want to see. It's not like they just throw guys together for money. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry. What's wrong with making money? That's what they're there for, right? What's wrong with that? Boxing needs to learn something from the UFC and make the fights that matter. Eddie Hearn went to America offering people $100 million contracts, and they saying no. People getting money that they never saw in their life. $7 million to Jamal Charlo. No. So it's like, I don't see a problem with people getting boxing more closer knit and bringing people under one umbrella. It needs that. Too much people have the chance to say wrong side of the street, or some other BS, or some other nonsense. That's why these fights ain't happening. Queensberry and Matchroom. A fight won't happen unless it's a purse bid. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Boxing needs that. It needs that. The PBC failed to do it because the fighters there are lazy. In the UFC, they're not lazy. They have to fight.
They have to fight. They have to fight. There ain't no sitting on the benches. And I think you answered the question there. John Jones is a fine example. He fought everybody, James. For everybody. Look at all the weight categories in the UFC. They fight everybody. So gonna have to disagree with you on that one, James. In the UFC, they fight everybody. Yeah, they'll have a super fight here and there. But ultimately, they fight everybody. No one entity can control the sanctioning of title bouts, managing fighters and promotion of the fights. That will lead to a den of corruption. Boxing is corrupt enough as it is. I hope Hearn isn't going to continue having all his ex-fighters being part of Dazn. All his ex-fighters. What do you mean ex-fighters? What about current fighters? Yeah. What's this? Dazn to revamp their production. Dazn need to revamp their production. Dazn need to hire Magliani. Dazn most certainly do not need to hire Magliani as a character with some problems, if ever there was one. Okay. So, where are we now? Yeah, where are we now? Well, I think we've pretty much done that one down. We've looked at it from every conceivable angle. Where is it? Boom. Boom, boom. And that was the topic. Eddie Hearn and Matchroom Boxing to leave Sky Sports this summer and sign 100 million plus Dazn deal. Okay. So I think everybody's had a go on that. James, you got any final words to say on that before we move on to the next topic? James, you're muted. I muted you.
I say I don't think that the UFC's run the best because you got fighters being cut all the time, you know, and they run it not like boxing now. It's run like a business, and when anything's run like a business, it's bad news. When you haven't got competitors, that it's a monopoly, and in the world of business, they're trying to get rid of monopolies.
Yeah.
And when you have a monopoly on anything.
It won't be. It'll be far from monopoly. The top rank aren't going anywhere.
But when top rank have nobody, who cares?
The BBC,
Who cares about the BBC if they've got nobody?
They're still going to be around.
But when they've got nobody, what's the point of them being around? They're just doing these national, regional fights.
BBC will always have a market. There'll always be
not at all. Just before UFC, there was loads of different organizations. Right. They had the ones in Japan. They had some of the ones in America, and they're all pretty much been annihilated, apart from the other. I forget what it's called. The one,
that flies.
The UFC and the other one.
What you're saying flies in contradiction to what's actually happening, though, because in the last few years, we've had the rising of the what do you call them, the MTK. Just in the last few years, we've had the rising of the MTK. So I don't see how boxing is gonna die. If Eddie Hearn has a bit of a budget, the top rank ain't going anywhere. The PBC ain't going anywhere. So I hear what you're saying, and hey, you might be right. Who's to say? You might be right. I just don't think
it's been lovely talking to you, Rafi. I'll jump on again soon.
Hey, appreciate it. And that was.
And I'm out. See you then.
Take care, James. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. That was James. I haven't heard from James in a long time. Really negative. The UFC have number half fight. What?
1 and 2.
Really negative. UFC have number 1 and 2 fights of all time. What's that?
Means that they have number 1 versus number 2 fight all the time.
Really negative. The UFC have number 1 and 2 fights all. Okay, I get you.
No, he won't get any issues from me because I remember when there was a lot more older organizing, but the UFC, like for instance, Pride FC got weakened because they were into Yakuza stuff.
Yeah,
the UFC ended up buying up Strikeforce in America from Scott Coker, and but Scott Coker's partner sold him out, and they left him whatever. And the UFC had a chance to buy up Strikeforce. They also bought WFA, and they also bought some other smaller organizations. But the truth is, I hated that, but you ended up having the best fighters under one banner, and they had to fight because the UFC had stopped doing cross promotions ever since they became a strong party. They did co-promotions with Pride, but they took UFC guys over to Pride FC.
That's right.
Pride FC didn't return the favor. Right. Chocolate went over there.
Rampage.
Right? Well, Rampage was a Pride FC fighter at the time.
Oh yeah.
And Rampage beat Chocolate in the semi-final.
That's right.
Right. Pride was supposed to send back Wanderlei Silva to UFC. They never did.
Yeah.
UFC had to buy Pride FC to get Wanderlei into. Anyway, it's a long story. What I'm saying here, he didn't get of course, the UFC had done some shady things, right? But they did it in an effort to get all the top fighters under their banner. You can't tell me we haven't seen the best possible fights in MMA under the. I mean, we've seen them. We've seen the fights. You've seen people now have nowhere else to go. Yes, they cut people because they don't have no more room. They can't pay everybody. Well, it was a pandemic.
Yeah.
But then that gives fighters a chance to fighters and other people a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere else. And ply your trade. UFC is going to have 3 title fights up for grabs this Saturday on one card.
Oh my God. I mean, real talk. I don't understand. I don't understand what was the whole. I think Brans Plummer said it. Maybe it's the Super League effect, right? Because somebody has to explain this Super League thing to me. I don't know what this is. You know what I mean?
The Super League, basically, it's I never knew what it was because I don't watch football anymore. But I just read up on it earlier on early today. A few of the top teams from around Europe that were going to break away to form their own little Super League, and that would have been very economically attractive to those teams because they would have just been playing each other in one Super League. But different parties have come out now. Apparently, I don't know were the fans up in arms about it or somebody was up in arms, and they have rejected it now. So it looked like it was all steams ahead. I never heard nothing about it until it was upon us because I don't watch football no more. But that's the Super League. That's the basic broad outline of the Super League. It was going to be a breakaway of a couple of the top teams from each country in Europe. 2 or 3, whatever. Well, quite a few of them from the UK, from England. They were going to join this Super League, and yeah, they'd all be playing each other and all be making big money because they're only playing other Super League teams. But there's been uproar. I don't know who started the uproar, but it is the UK teams, the England teams aren't joining the Super League no more, and there's various other teams around Europe.
But I saw Arsenal in there. Is Arsenal even still good, bro? I see Arsenal wasn't it. Is Arsenal even still good? Anyway, never mind.
I watched football for 10 years. I ain't watched football for 10 years, so I don't
right.
know who's in the teams no more. I quit.
What kind of a Brit are you?
Well, I used to be a football. I used to be into football, but it came to a stage where I said, nah, it's over. I used to watch Formula One, but then it came to the stage where I said, nah, I'm not sitting down for 2-3 hours on a Sunday to watch this no more. As much as I love it, I used to watch tennis, but there came a point where I just said, as much as I love tennis, I just don't feel like sitting down for 3 hours to watch a game anymore. Same with football.
I used to like Arsenal because they had Henry and Dennis Bergkamp and these.
That was an amazing era. I was watching them.
I used to like Arsenal a lot at that time.
That was an amazing era. Anelka, Henry. Patrick Vieira, and before them, you remember there was Ian Wright. I met Ian Wright at the petrol station, you know. Do you remember Ian Wright, or was that before your time when you was watching them?
I probably not. I don't remember that is.
Yeah, Ian Wright, he was before them cats.
Right.
But, so Arsenal, they were kind of legendary before that with Ian Wright and who was them guys? Ray Parler in the back, and what's that guy? You used to call him the donkey. Adams. He was a captain.
The donkey.
He used to run like a donkey. He was tall and ungainly, and they used to call him the donkey. Adams. He was a captain. So yeah, they've been a hell of a team over the years. When they started getting those imports in. When they started importing the Henrys, the Patrick Vieira, the Anelka, when they started, oh my gosh, what a period of football. What a period of football. That was fantastic. So what else do we need to listen, man? I think we've done it. I think we've done that. We're going to touch on another thing. Yeah, that's it. Tony Adams. And even Chelsea, that was just around that period you're talking about, Kong. That was an explosion in football. Absolute. That football was at its sweetest. That was my era of football. When you say, Raf, when was your favorite era of football? I'd have to say it was around that time. Football was at its sweetest. Ray Parler, I don't know why I thought of Ray Parler. He wasn't exactly the best, but they were reliable at the back. They were reliable. They had oh my gosh, Bergkamp. Oh
yeah, I told you when Arsenal had Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh,
and I always remember Dennis Bergkamp never liked to fly or something. It was the strangest thing, but I like when him and Henry were on the same team. Man. I remember watching football when people like Clivert them used to play and them guys and. But that was back then.
Yeah.
After that, I just went, man, whatever.
Absolutely. Roy Keane, Patrick Vieira battles. Yeah, that was Arsenal versus Man U.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That was
So basically, the richest teams wanted to break off and form their own private
yes.
conference, super conference.
Yeah, super
that had nothing. That had so the English teams were still playing the is it FA? Premier League.
Yeah, Premier League. Yeah.
But so then things like the Champions League would have gone away or something.
Yeah, they've been problematic with them things. They'd have been out of them leagues and just being with the Super League, as far as I understand. They'll just break away. It'll be a breakaway. As far as I understand. For anybody's got a different, the Invincibles, if anybody's got a different take on it, the Flying Dutchman who hated to fly. That's the one. That's the one. That is the one. If anybody's got a different version to me, and put it in the chat. But I read up on it yesterday, today, and that is my understanding. Okay, so we're going to touch on something. By the way, folks, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, all you got to do is hit that thing by where you're writing. There's a little thing. It might have a dollar sign, might have a yen sign, it might have a euro sign. You press that and become a sponsor of the show. If you
I can't use those things. I can't use them. It says it's not available in my area. So,
not available in territories.
Make Rafi's can shake.
Can't find the can, but I got the bell.
What?
I suspect somebody stole the original Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio tin. It's going to be worth
we need that back. We need that back.
Well, I don't know if Pigeon is kidnapped it. I don't know if Pigeon sent a pigeon through my window to kidnap my tin, but Pigeon, just name your price. Name your price. It's a part of the family now, the tin. So come on, Pigeon, just name your price. We'll be able to make. We'll have a whip round. Okay. So, and for those, if that thing doesn't work for you, remember there's the PayPal button, and you can find that in the description box. So you don't have to contribute now, but if you're watching it sometime in the future, all you have to do is go to the description box, click the PayPal button, and you can buy the Rafi a cup of tea or a coffee or a beer or an ice wine or a Ray and Nephew's rum. Okay. Let's get into the next thing. Where is it? It's a quick thing. Can't be a long thing. Keeping it nice and tight. It went around 3 hours yesterday. I think so. Something like that. Okay, but we love to get the content out to you straight from Dawkins Towers into your homes. Okay. So, boom. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look. And get this bigger. Hold on. Didn't even have to do that. Let's do it this way. Okay. How does that look on the screen? All right. I'm not even going to announce this topic. Just going to let it play. So what's going on here? Super League was a stupid idea. No Merseyside derby would have been criminal. Yeah, there's a lot of little derbies that would have been eliminated. And we don't want that. What's this here? Okay, is this it? Is that as big as it gets? That looks tiny. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do? Let's try. No. That's garbage. That is pure garbage. Okay, let me try something else. If at first you don't succeed and all that. Let's go. Boom, boom, boom. No, it doesn't work. Okay. We just have to make do. Make the best. Make the best of it. Okay. Is this acceptable? Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. We'll have to do. Let's hear. These are the words from Frankie Warren. Go on, Frank. Talk to the people.
Is confirmed in Saudi Arabia. Looking like 3 possible dates, but just talk to me about the sort of next stages of that and what you think of the sort of dates and the fact that it's in Saudi Arabia.
Well, it's not at the moment in Saudi Arabia. We keep hearing all these things. I'm yet to see a contract that everybody's prepared to sign. So once we get a contract that we can look at, and it deals with the issues what we need to be happy with everybody concerned needs to be happy with, then we can sign it and announce it. But as I stand here now, there is nothing whatsoever that would be considered by any of the parties on Tyson Fury's side to sign. So that's what we're waiting for.
Okay, so Frank Warren says there's no deal. There's no Saudi deal. There's nothing to sign. We over here on Tyson Fury's side, we haven't seen anything to sign. To me, what do I take of it? Yeah, there's nothing. What is Frank Warren saying? Listen, to me, it's real easy. It's real easy. I don't even have to think too hard about it. There's nothing to sign. Okay, nothing to sign yet. Well, certain things have been signed, have they not? Certain things have been signed. Agreements to fight have been signed, and certain things are yet to be signed. Certain things have been signed, and certain things are yet to be signed. That's my take on that. What's your take on that specific issue? Specific issue there, Kong.
I like that Frank Warren is pulling rank on these fools and telling them, look here, man, if I don't eat, nobody eats. You understand me? And if I don't sign off on this, no fight going through. So I don't know. I mean, Frank Warren seems to be he's always been quite steadfast that this fight ain't happening when these other people on Tyson Fury's side has seen anything they want to say. And that's odd because Bob Arum was the one who was out talking about Saudi Arabia and the dates. So is there a rift? Is there a lapse in the Tyson Fury team, MTK, Queensberry, Top Rank? It's very strange because Frank Warren seems to always have had a different idea about this fight. And maybe Frank might be proven to be right.
Frank Warren has been the naysayer. Frank Warren has been staunch in his naysaying. You have to give the man credit. He has been consistent. He has been a consistent naysayer. Frank even came out a couple of days ago, said he's got a new deal. He's got a new deal, a new offer. A new offer's coming in for Joshua Fury. He's got a new deal. I thought, whoa, what the hell happened, Frank? You've been sleeping for the last couple of months. What's going on? You got a new deal now? Haven't heard anything more of that. We'll have to wait and see if Frank deal's better than everybody else's deal or if it was real. Was it a real deal? Is it the real deal? So Frank Warren says nothing is consistent with his naysaying, saying nothing's been signed for Saudi Arabia. Is he ruling out something being signed for Saudi Arabia in the next week? Next week and a half? I suspect, well, that's up to Frank. I'm just posing that question. It's a kind of rhetorical question. It's to Frank Warren. He can't hear me until he listens to this later on tonight or maybe tomorrow. Get back to me on that one, Frank. Get back to me on that one. Okay.
you didn't. Are you gonna send out the Porto team?
I'm gonna send. I'm gonna DM him.
That's right.
Okay. So, Frank, what else you got to say, matey? Go on, Frank. Go on.
The date's looking likely it's going to be sort of, they're saying end of July, beginning of August, one of those dates.
I'm told it's being later than that, but we'll see once we get the offer. But I don't see it going on in June or July. I don't see that at all. And as I've said from day one, and I think they've dealt with it now that Robert McCracken is going to the Olympics. So certainly, if it were to be in August, bigger, then he's saying that he won't be in his corner. So that's
okay. I've mentioned it before. I don't think people cottoned onto it. I don't think people lapped it up. I don't think it soaked in. I don't think it seeped in. I don't think it really marinated in people's brains. But I'd already said it. I already done told you. Maybe you heard it elsewhere as well, but I know for sure I said it over here. I done told you that Robert McCracken, the dates, what is it, the 24th or the 24th of June or whatever. And then there's 2 dates in June. There's 2 dates in July and there's one date in August. The fight has to be in July for Robert McCracken, Anthony Joshua's head trainer, to be around. If it runs into August, then McCracken is going to the Olympics, and there is a possibility, if it runs into August, that Robert McCracken will not be in AJ's corner. I'm not taking that from your man there, Warren. I said it before. You know, but Warren is saying it as well. And on this occasion, yes, I can say there is some credence to what he says. Rob McCracken is going to the Olympics, so his availability is limited, and there is a reasonable probability that Robert McCracken will not be in AJ's corner for the fight. What do you make about that, Iron Kong?
I'm not sure Anthony Joshua will want to go into the fight without his full corner.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if he'll want to. Who knows? Maybe he will. But again, Frank Warren has been saying the fight will happen, just not at the date they were talking about. Bob Arum and them did say July 7th, 20-something, or August, or early August. And Frank Warren did say August.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it'll happen in August. Frank Warren is steadfast in what he's been saying. And I want to know what's the new site deal that my guy Frank has gotten. I like Frank Warren.
Come on, Frank, don't be shy. Frank doesn't strike me as a shy guy, so he should be able to furnish further info. Maybe it's a shame he didn't give a deadline. It's a shame. It's a shame the journalist didn't ask him, for a time, an estimate. And then, maybe the Rafi could come on with a stopwatch saying, come on, Frank, time's ticking out, Frank. You got 3 days. Frank. I'm giving you 3 days left. So it's a shame he didn't give a timeline. Okay. So I think there's a further bit to this. Is there a further bit to this? Yes.
Something that was always in the back of my mind, how do they deal with it? But they've dealt with it. And so I've read on a couple of releases or on the internet this morning that that's not going to be an issue. But first thing first, let's get the offer, an offer that's a binding offer, and then we can deal with it.
It's highly anticipated, that fight. Can't wait.
It's been highly anticipated for so long now. It's untrue.
AJ Fury.
Uh-oh. Okay. Kong, what's your take of that last bit there?
What he said? Sorry.
Well, you're saying that, as a matter of fact, rat-a-tat-tat. Let me just play that last bit again.
The internet this morning that that's not going to be an issue. But first thing first, let's get a couple of releases or on the internet this morning that that's not going to be an issue. But it's bigger. Then he's saying that he won't be in his corner. So that's something that was always in the back of my mind. How do they deal with it? They've dealt with it. And so I've read on a couple of releases or on the internet this morning that that's not going to be an issue. But first thing first, let's get the offer, an offer that's a binding offer, and then we can deal with it.
It's high.
Boom.
We're talking about the binding offer he's talking about?
Talking about let's get a binding offer. But
what is considered a binding offer? Because it seems like everybody's keep saying, like, in terms of the money and all of that, that's already been signed off on. Mm-hmm. Everybody has accepted those terms. So maybe I don't know business. So what is considered a binding offer? Is he talking about the site? Is he talking? I mean, he says an offer.
Binding. I think the difference between an offer and a binding offer, I think he's talking about a signature. I think he wants it sealed with a signature. I think he wants things, the offer sealed with a signature. If it ain't sealed with a signature, as far as Frank's concerned, it's not a binding offer. He wants all the T's, he wants all the I's dotted and all the T's crossed. Yeah. It's coming over real negative. Like, I don't know. Is Tyson, is Frank Warren right to be so skeptical? Seems skeptical. See, acting like he's skeptical. I don't think I think it's on. I think when Bob Arum comes out and says the damn thing's on, how the hell is Frank Warren coming out saying it ain't on? Is there
Frank Warren is the boss, man. He's the primary promoter. He's Queensberry, right? No?
He's the big man on campus. He's Frank Warren, the big man on campus. When you got a man like Bob Arum on campus, how you going? You know, is a Frank Warren a big man on campus when you got man like Bob Arum on the same campus? Surely not. Surely Bob Arum knows a little bit more about what's going on than Frank Warren. Seem out of step. Frank Warren and Bob Arum seem out of step. Maybe there's a story in that. Maybe there's more of a story in the fact that Frank Warren, Bob Arum are coming up with different takes of the story. Bob Arum saying it's all systems go. Frank Warren saying nothing signed. Nothing signed. I don't know what people are getting excited about. Nothing signed. I think I'm with Bob on this one. I think I'm with Bob and Eddie. Tom comes up with a good one. He's skeptical because he's not in charge of promoting the event.
Hey. You stop disrespecting my guy. All right? I like Frank. I'm that.
Hey, Frank's okay, man, but we just gotta call it how we see it, man. Maybe Frank is skeptical because he's not really in the engine room of this thing. That's my take on it. More sour grapes from Frank Warren. Are more signatures needed? I'm sure there are more signatures needed. But I'm also
is Frank saying he hasn't added his signature yet?
Oh, maybe Frank's saying that. Maybe Frank's saying that he hasn't been presented with the paper to add his signature.
That's right. So if I don't sign off, nothing happens, all right? So y'all guys still gotta go through me. Hey, cut Frank in, bro. This is gonna save Queensberry. We're gonna take over boxing after this. You know what I'm saying? Me, Francis Warren, Frank Warren, he cut.
OMG. And damn, got another one. It's another one in the bag. Well, dude, I think we did 2 yesterday, 1 today. Damn, we're banging them out. So Iron Kong, your final words on everything. We come to that time of the show.
Well, final words, man. I think that the zone thing works for everybody. The zone knew what they signed off for. According to the Athletic, Anthony Joshua is not included in this deal. Neither is Dillian White. That has to be worked out separately. So the zone knows who they're working with. Eddie came into the American market. It was what they had to. They had to overspend to make noise, to get fighters. Because when if you know about business, when you come into a market where there's already established players, you have to be loud. You have to be loud. You have to, if you're starting from a standstill, you have to spend more than anybody else. So you have to spend more. And then you start scaling back when things start leveling out, right? So it doesn't seem like Eddie Hearn put them in the red where he overspent and now, he spent all his money. I don't think he spent all his money. And that's something that it seems like the PBC has a problem because they seem like they owe people, they're in debt. Eddie seems to know how to manage money.
Yeah.
But they had to overspend to get a name for themselves. Now they're scaling back. Anyway, it's not a bad thing to me. Best of luck to Eddie because he's gonna have to start again in a way and build from scratch because he's not gonna have the Sky established model that he also built. So he's gonna have to build again. I saw the report say that the zone is gonna have a whole new team, like announced team, boxing announced team, and that's a good thing. So it seems like the zone is really making a big push. The Sky opening, that's good for other people, man. Get other people a chance to be seen on a large scale. Give other people a chance. So if I was small promoters, what I would be doing is maybe linking up with each other,
Yeah.
And how do we approach Sky as a group to get all of us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All of us some eyeballs. I see it as a good thing. Eddie Hearn has a big job ahead of him. He might fail, but Sky is there and they have a model, Eddie's model, that they can help work with other people with. So who knows? This might end up backfiring at Eddie Hearn, but in my opinion, it's a good thing for everybody. In my opinion, in terms of the zone price going up, obviously it can't be $1.99 all the time. I mean, really, it started off as free in America for like 3 months, and then they stopped it.
Yeah,
right. They stopped it, and it went to like $100 a year. Look, man, if you're into boxing and they charge you £100 a year, pay £100 a year, man, a year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, for a full year. If they have the fighters you want to see, pay it. If not, don't. But don't complain about Eddie Hearn. If he gets this money, he's gonna take over boxing. And man, boxing needs that. Boxing needs a little bit of streamlining, in my opinion. But that's it from me, Rafi.
Yeah,
you
man.
have a nice night, man. Take it easy. And everybody in the chat, peace.
That was the Iron Kong. Much appreciation goes out to the Iron Kong. Thanks for jumping on, bro. What's going on? What's going on? Now that we're finished with that, we're done with that. To me, Eddie ain't really. Eddie appears to be a peripheral player in this game, and seems to me that he's being somewhat pedantic. Okay, there's not a signature here, there's not a signature on that bit of paper. Yeah, that's fair enough. All those papers need to be signed. That particular piece of paper needs to be signed. That particular paper needs to be signed. Okay. But there's a glass half full type of person and the glass half empty type of person. And Eddie, Frank Warren right about now is playing the role of the glass half empty type person. I think it's going ahead. I'm cool with listening to Bob Arum on this one. I think Bob Arum has been more involved. Maybe Bob Arum's been a bit more involved. Maybe Bob Arum's getting a bit more information than Frank. Maybe this is a cry for help. Maybe this is Frank Warren's way of crying for help. He's not in the middle of the thing. It seems like a peripheral player. Seems like. And so he's spewing. He's telling his story, but from a glass half empty point of view.
EJ Fury fight. We've heard a lot in recent days, confirmed in Saudi Arabia. Looking like 3 possible dates, but just talk to me about the sort of next stages of that and what you think of the sort of dates and the fact that it's in Saudi Arabia.
Well, it's not at the moment in Saudi Arabia. We keep hearing all these things. I'm yet to see a contract that everybody's prepared to sign. So once we get a contract that we can look at, and it deals with the issues, what we need to be happy with, everybody concerned needs to be happy with, then we can sign it and announce it. But as I stand here now, there is nothing whatsoever that would be considered by any of the parties on Tyson Fury's side to sign. So that's what we're waiting for.
And are the dates looking likely? It's going to be sort of, they're saying end of July, beginning of August, one of those dates.
I'm told it's being later than that, but we'll see once we get the offer. But I don't see it going on in June or July. I don't see that at all. And as I've said from day one, and I think they've dealt with it now that Robert McCracken is going to the Olympics. So certainly, if it were to be in August, bigger, then he's saying that he won't be in his corner. So that's something that was always in the back of my mind. How do they deal with that? But they've dealt with it. And so I've read on a couple of releases on the internet this morning that that's not going to be an issue. But first thing first, let's get the offer, an offer that's a binding offer, and then we can deal with it.
It's highly anticipated, that fight. Can't wait.
It's been highly anticipated for so long now. It's untrue.
Boom, boom, boom. Is Frank Warren a hater? Is Frank Warren a hater? Come on, Frank. He's an old school hater. He was born bitter. They say that Eddie Hearn was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Well, is it the case that Frank Warren was born with a bitter spoon in his mouth? Frank Warren may have been born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but his dad wasn't. Just a basic working class kid who went to college and earned his qualification in accountancy. And made it. But don't get it twisted. It comes from good working stock and appears to have been rewarded for his hard work, or taken on rather, not rewarded, but taken on. Nobody's given him any handouts. He's been taken on by Dazn to grow the brand. Meanwhile, growing his own brand, it's symbiotic. There's a synergy. There's a what's that word? Stick with synergy. Let's stick with synergy. There's a synergy between Dazn, Matchroom, and of course there is a huge budget. So the landscape in the UK is going to change. Who are going to be the premier people working with Sky? Who are going to be who's going to be the new A-team over there on Sky TV? That remains to be seen. New territory, uncharted waters. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how this shiznix is going to go down. Okay, and there we have it, and there it is. I'll stop sharing that, and that was the show. It's quite bizarre. Nobody's written anything in for 10 minutes. Madness. I guess people are just leaning back, enjoying themselves with a nice hot cup of cocoa. Okay. So we didn't get a sponsor for the show. That's not good. Yeah, we're going to have to work on that. But in the meantime, thanks to the last night's sponsor, and that was the Scott 70. So we did get a sponsor for last night's show, even though we don't have a sponsor for tonight's show. Something we're definitely going to have to step up the game on that one. But anyway, thanks to the Iron Kong, the H Mo Nai for dropping all, and the James. Don't forget the James. I ain't seen James in a while. And of course, got to give a shout out to everybody who took the time out of their day to come over here on the Raphael Dawkins on the Combat Radio. And have your say. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares, and it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And you thought it was over. You thought it was finished. But no, you're wrong. I tricked you because we got a little bit of a treat, little bit of a finishing treat for y'all. Where is it? Okay, call this a bonus track. Or should I call it a bonus track, or should I make a video of this? Should I make this a video? Damn. Okay, video it is. It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it's the hitting the bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Don't forget about the live show. Don't forget about Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. It's Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. And I'm out. Blessed.